Today we'll see how Bart Simpson finesses a scam where the entire Springfield is scammed, move that lands him in a reformatory, where he'll have an unexpected adventure and get to know someone intimately. So, sit back, because this is a big mischief and its consequences. The story begins with the Simpson family visiting a luxury mall filled with elegant and expensive shops. Homer asks about clothes for big and fat gentlemen and happily discovers they have plenty in the basement. However, when his wife shouts at him to tie his shoes before using the stairs, he ignores her and ends up being trampled by all the shoppers.
Oh, so many shoppers! Oh, damn this! Oh!
Lisa sees clothes for girls and is fascinated by a line for little vixens, but she responds that she's only 8 years old. Wow, what kind of store makes their daughters dress like that? Anyway, society. On the other hand, Marge is told that she should be aware that she has exposed her skin to harmful stuff. She shows her through a camera all the evils that her skin has, giving a close-up of how they're eating her beauty. She responds that they are mites, but a single beautifying lotion with more than 60 ingredients, and when they make the close-up again, that it does whir. But she gets sad, because surely that mite had family. We move on to the fitting rooms, where Homer is asked to hurry, since many customers want to try on clothes. The bad thing is that he thought he was in the bathroom.
Other customers need to use that dressing room. Dressing room? Uh-oh.
Bart finds a pistol with which he plays knocking down couples until an employee takes it away, and tells him that it is not a toy. It is a bar reader for wedding gifts. He explains that couples use it to select the gifts they want for their wedding, and others can give it to them, so there won't bad gifts. He writes himself as the wedding groom, and as the bride a certain Lola, only to start off with a sequence of him very unleashed asking gifts, and shooting everything that comes his way, to then leave the scene. He tells Milhouse how he's scheming this. The idea is to have a fake wedding so they can give him gifts. He will keep some, and return the ones he doesn't use to get credit. A criminal mastermind. He sends the invitations to the entire city and uses the location of the job fair to have the wedding. Several Springfield characters arrive with expensive gifts, including the mayor with his niece, and here is where the famous scene occurs.
I am your niece, Uncle Joe.
Good Lord, I'm an abomination.
When everyone enters, Bart locks up all the guests to steal the gifts and flees the scene. The guests panic. And Mo, in particular, goes crazy.
My God, we're sealed in. Hey, nobody breathe my air. Get your own.
Saying he can't breathe, Willie can't either. So he starts to take the air directly from his lungs with a kiss, resulting in everyone passing out from lack of air. Bart considers this as a victory until he runs into the police. He tries to offer him some cutlery in exchange for his silence, but the badge is quite clear. Only cash bribes are accepted. Bart is arrested for his prank, and in court the judge tells him that the list of his crimes is very long, showing his file, which doesn't look so big, right?
Just look at this file.
That doesn't look so big.
Well, it turns out Toby, the address of the warehouse where Bart's files are, and it occupies 3 full warehouses, family-sized. He's sentenced to 6 months in the juvenile detention center, which seems a bit exaggerated for a prank. I don't know, what do you think? News that makes him beg. He is so alarmed that she is even willing to betray his father to be released. He has done things that no one can imagine, things that are no longer necessary because they already have an informant spying on him. The guess is that it involves Lenny. Maybe that's why he always preferred Carl.
One he'll never suspect.
Is it Lenny?
Marge doesn't let them take her little one away. They must apply the technique of exchanging him for another. So without her noticing, they frame Rafa while her son is processed and taken to a place where now they even accept criminal midgets. He leaves his most precious belongings, his slingshot, a drawing, among other little things. This event breaks his mother's heart, who thinks she is the worst mom in the world, to which her husband responds that he saw all these years turn their son into a time bomb and did nothing. In a way, this also makes him a victim. At least if that's the case, he tells her that she is a good mother. She always supported her son. Maybe, just maybe, his behavior was due to a negative influence. While they are in the reform school, it is expected that one day they will be released, so they show them their possible future jobs for when that day comes, like bugger flipper, French fryer, and bathroom cleaner. Also, they become a blessing for employers like Krusty. If they ever ask for a raise, just call the parole office and they are caged again. Then they move on to movie night. Finally, something good, cartoons, the best form of entertainment. The detail is that it was edited to be viewed in prison. The armies prepare for an incessant and agonizing battle that ends up being cut. They remove all the good parts and go straight to the happily ever after. They have taken away what they love most, which is not enough. Everything he does inside the institution, he must avoid problems with the other inmates. Only these seem to be 30 years old and are even businessmen, as they sell photographs of beating children as tourist souvenirs. Barty thinks he will be safer if he approaches the girls' section. The trouble is that they grab him and immobilize him. There he meets Gina, who turns out to be worse than the other delinquents. He tells his family about this. Homer, as a good father, looks for a way to help him, and what better way than from inside the prison. Taking advantage of the fact that they are looking for guards, he asks for a job. His motivation is that children,
Unless we stop them now.
Welcome aboard.
are the future if they are not stopped now, enough for him to be hired. As usual, the older kids bully Bart, but this time it would be a big surprise when his father arrives. No one can touch him anymore. He gives him a lollipop and carries him in his arms. I wouldn't expect anything less from Homer. But then, the bell rings.
Well, that's the end of my shift. See you Monday.
Announcing that his shift is over, so he will see him next week, leaving him much worse than he was. They move on to happier topics. The principal informs them that the part of the brain that remembers dance steps is also the centre of anger. So those who know how to dance have a 10% less chance of committing a double homicide. Look at that good statistic. One would still like to know who is the author of such an informative study.
Who conducted this study?
The Institute of Shut Your Fat Face.
Wow, that's savage. They must form couples, and quickly Gina ends up with our beloved protagonist. They handcuff them and make them dance. Although the girl has her rules. Hands at 10 and 2, no eye contact, and no compliments. Something Barty wouldn't do anyway. The girl visualizes the surroundings and realizes she has a chance to escape. She drags the little one and they leave the room in a heart-pounding escape. Tay director asks them to close the perimeter and do it quickly, but the guy is really slow.
I'm on it.
He yells at him to hurry up, but he says that he can do it quickly or he can do it well. Bart tells Shorty that he had 2 weeks left and he had no reason to escape, so she gives him one, only that the excitement quickly fades. There he is, shouting for help, so better keep quiet, or next time she'll target his rear. Although he still wonders why she kissed him, maybe she is trying to seduce the great Barto, to which she responds that they will only be together until she can remove the chain. And if they are caught, she will say it was his idea, as she has the wonderful talent of playing the victim.
I can do this.
His family sees on TV the news of Bart Simpson and Gina Vendetti's escape. To understand the minds of the fugitives, a former juvenile delinquent has been invited. If you want to know how they will act, you can read it in his book, 10 Habits of Successful Criminals. He had to promote the book or he would get shot. Lisa understands why her brother escaped with only 2 weeks left, but what she doesn't understand is men. Surely he did it out of stupidity, says Homer. Besides, what is the worst that could happen? He imagines his son being forced to marry an alien that will lay eggs in his brain.
I can't wait to lay my eggs in his brain.
The kids start to get to know each other a little better. Gina confesses that she ended up in reform school for pushing Snow White off the parapet. She survived, but didn't live a good life, and he confesses that girls disgust him, which seems to strengthen their friendship. On the other hand, the cop conducts his investigation. They reach Cletus because he has memory problems from drinking from his thermometer. He blurted out everything he saw, and precisely he saw the scrawny guy. Oh, and he also brought the future.
Sometimes I whittles the future.
Things don't look good for the chief. There goes the duo, walking towards the blacksmith, chatting about whether lice exist or not, and also about what they will do after being separated. Gina intends to be hidden by her family, who must be cool parents. Finally, they reach their destination, only there is a long and shady line.
Oh man, there's a line.
until finally, the blacksmith makes them a key. What good service. Finally, they are free. He gives her another kiss, and Bart ruins the moment by saying that the next time his mother tells him to do something, he will stay with his family.
Your family. Uh-oh. Don't get fresh with me, jerk.
The blacksmith advises him to leave her. It is clear she is problematic. No doubt this girl is crazy. He better leave, and on the way, he finds poor Wiggum. The prophecy has been fulfilled. But more importantly, he finds the little girl crying. It turns out she has no family. They are imaginary. He tries to cheer her up, making everything worse. They start rolling around, ending their insults at the chief's feet. He thinks of planting evidence, which this time is not necessary if they are guilty, just like the bear. That somehow he was able to stop on his own. Very impressive, not gonna lie. His family arrives to say goodbye to him. He should not feel ashamed for being caught alive. They went through a long sentence in prison. The good thing is that when he gets out, he might be muscular and have a few teardrop tattoos. Seeing how miserable they are, she decides to confess that she is the mastermind behind the escape and took little Bartolomeo by force, for which Chief Wiggum releases him. Although he has 2 weeks left, they don't want to be cramped in the car with the staff, the girl, the bear, and the chief's kite. That is more than enough. They take her back to the reform school, where new companions await her. That's where she is wonderfully surprised by Bart, who has prepared a nice Mexican family party for her. Everyone can prepare their own taco. Lisa tries to befriend her, but quickly identifies her as a nerd.
For showing my brother that girls can be cool.
Who is this nerd?
Meanwhile, the principal, distressed, tells them he will go to the loneliness of his apartment, have a tuna sandwich for dinner, play music, and cry himself to sleep. That's very depressing, but not as depressing as the time where Homer, due to life circumstances, will become the new head of the nuclear plant, which will cause him to spend less time with his family. If you want to see what happens in this episode, click on the video below. But first, don't forget to like and subscribe.